Krishna to all devotees assembled here.
Should I start, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. जीवम विश्वपाद परमहंस परमयक्ष स्तुत सदा से श्रीमती स्वयं श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इसका फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जीवम विश्वपाद परमहंस परमयक्ष स्तुत सदा से श्रीमद भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। जीवम विश्वास लघुर किशोरदास महाराज की जय। जीवम विश्वास लघुर सच्चिदानंद भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर की जय। जीवम विश्वपाद वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास महाराज की जय। जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जी गोपाल भट्टदास अविनाश गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से गौ श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत दाता शिव साधि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपन श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय। श्री श्री गौरांग बेंगलोरीश्वर भगवान की जय। श्री मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री वृंदावन राम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। आनंद कुल वैष्णव देवी श्री हरनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद भागवतम की जय। ISKCON with Mar Guru and the Giri, Samavad Bhakti, or Preyaman, Hari Hari Boy, all go reach to the assembly. All go reach to the assembly. All go reach to the assembly. All go reach to Shri Guru and Shri Gauraka, all goes to Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Sarasvati Vyasam Tato Jayate. Nashtaprayeshu Patreshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtihi. Hare Krishna. So welcome you all to this Saturday morning Srimad Bhagavatam summary study. We will discuss today from chapter 10, Canto 10, chapter 44. The subject is entitled Krishna killing Kamsa. The text number 1. Sukadeva Goswami said, thus addressed Lord Krishna made up his mind to accept the challenge. He paired off with Chanura and Lord Balaram with Mushtika. So Krishna took up the battle with Chanura and Balaram took up with Mushtika. Text number 2. Seizing each other's hands and locking legs with each other, the opponents struggled powerfully, eager for victory. So, I've not been much into wrestling matches, but we see that they engage each other's hands and each other's legs also, and each one trying to gain victory. Text number 3. The translation Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. They each stuck fists against fists, knees against knees, head against head, and chest against chest. So these may be the certain rules of the game that each one fights with his fists of each other. Each one strikes their knees against the knees, head against the head, and the chest against the chest. Text number 4. Each fighter contended with his opponent by dragging him about in circles, shoving and crushing him, throwing him down, and running before and behind him. So, Srila Sridhara Swami comments that this pariramba indicates that crushing one's opponent with one's arms. So, they try to crush each other with one's arms. Text number 5. Force translation Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Forcefully lifting and carrying each other, pushing each other away, holding each other down, the fighters hurt even their own bodies in their great eagerness for victory. So they were forcing each other and then pushing each other and holding each other. They hurt their own self in the process of trying to get victory. Text number 6. My dear king, all the women present, considering the match an unfair fight between the strong and the weak, felt extreme anxiety due to compassion. They assembled in groups around the arena and spoke to one another as follows. So here there's a mention as to how there were many women present, seeing, and they were considering that this match was very, very unfair. It was an unfair fight between the strong and the weak. They thought that the Chanura and Mushtika were very, very strong and Krishna and Balaram were weak. So they were anxious. Now, the point is that they were anxious for Krishna out of compassion. They felt compassion for Krishna and they thought that how will these two boys fight with the great fighters? So they assembled in groups around the arena and then spoke to one another as follows. Now we'll see what they speak to each other. Text number 7. The women said, alas, what a greatly irreligious act the members of this royal assembly are committing. As the king watches this fight between the strong and the weak, they also want to see it. So the ladies are expressing their concern that how come Kamsa is allowing such a irreligious fight between the strong and the weak. They say that this is not a proper religious battle because battle has to be between two equals. So they thought that Chanura and Mushtika fighting with Krishna and Balarama is an irreligious fight because one is strong and the other one is weak. So compassionate women are officially, especially offended and enraged by such unfair violence. So women are generally weak-minded, and because out of their compassion for Krishna, they were enraged, they were angry upon such unfair violence. Text number 8. What compassion can there be between these two professional wrestlers with limbs as strong as lightning bolts and bodies resembling mighty mountains, and these two young immature boys with exceedingly tender limbs? So here they are describing the physical ability of the wrestlers by observing them. They did not think that Krishna and Balaram were capable of fighting. On the other hand, they had compassion for Krishna and Balaram, and they thought that these two, Chanura and Mushtika, are professional wrestlers. They have got limbs as strong as lightning bolts and bodies resembling mighty mountains, because they were looking very huge, whereas Krishna and Balaram were looking young. So they thought that their bodies are like mountains and their limbs are strong as lightning bolts. And these two, Krishna and Balaram, are immature boys and they have very tender limbs. Uh, so this is how actually the devotees of Krishna are anxious for Krishna. It is seen also in Srimad Bhagavatam as to how the gopis were always anxious for Krishna. And in the process, they cursed many. For example, they cursed even Brahma as to how he has given. They were angry on Brahma. They said that Brahma has given these eyelids, and the moment you close the eyes, then they are feeling separation from Krishna. So this is how gopis have the mood of uh, serving Krishna. And they also thought that Krishna and Balaram are climbing the mountains, their feet might be getting hurt by stones, etc., gravel, etc. So how come they get hurt, and how can we prevent it? This is how their mood of serving Krishna always was. Text number 9. Translation. Religious principles have certainly been violated in this assembly. One should not remain for even a moment in a place where religion is flourishing. So these are the discussions amongst the women. Now they say that the religious principles have been violated in this assembly. Why? Because they say that two strong men are fighting too weak. So it is not religion, and one should not remain even for a moment in a place where irreligion is flourishing. The point is that wherever irreligion is there, devotees of the Lord should leave that place. They should not remain there even for a moment. So the women were all devotees of the Lord, and they were feeling, one is that there is a very strong and fight between strong and weak. And now they have come to the point saying that the religious principles have been violated here. So one should not be here. It is better to leave this place. Come to text number 10. Says, translation. A wise person should not enter an assembly if he knows the participants there are committing acts of impropriety. And if having entered such an assembly, he fails to speak the truth, or speaks falsely, or pleads ignorance, he will certainly incur sin. So now in this sloka, they are going further. They say a wise person should not at all enter. A wise person is one who should not enter an assembly like this, where there is where the participants are committing acts of impropriety. That means they said that this is a battle between strong and weak, and then they come to the point of irreligion, and now they say that one should not even enter such assemblies. And if somebody has entered an assembly like this, and if he fails to speak the truth, or speak even falsely, or pleads ignorance, he will certainly incur sin. That means here they come to the point that if one does not speak properly or speaks falsely, one incurs sinful reactions. So this is how the women contemplate out of their compassion for Krishna. Text number 11. Now they say, just see the lotus face of Krishna as he darts around his foe. That face, covered with drops of perspiration, brought on by the strenuous fight, resembled a lotus covered with dew. So here now they are describing the beauty of Krishna when he is in the fighting arena, wrestling arena. They say that his face is covered with drops of perspiration. Now we see that if we have perspiration, we may look ugly. But in the case of Krishna, Krishna, even if he has got perspiration, he is attractive to everyone. And due to this fight, he has got a lot of perspiration, but still his body looks like a lotus covered with dew. See, lotus flower is very beautiful, and when there is dew covering on that lotus flower, it becomes all the more attractive. So Krishna's beauty is such that even if he has got perspiration, his beauty remains as it is, rather his beauty increases. We see in the battlefield of Kurukshetra also how Krishna was there and he was riding the chariot, and though he got hurt due to the arrows of Bhishma Deva, but still it is said that blood was coming out of his body, but still he was looking very, very attractive. Now we see that if we get hurt somewhere and blood comes out, immediately what happens is we put a bandage. But from the bandage, it looks very ugly, and people are generally scared of seeing blood also. But in the case of Krishna, even though blood was oozing out in the battlefield, but still he was looking very, very attractive. That is described in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Krishna is always attractive. Text number 12. Now they say, don't you see the face of Lord Balarama with its eyes copper red from his anger towards Mustika, and its beauty enhanced by his laughter and his absorption in the fight? So now the women are describing about Lord Balaram's beauty. Balaram actually becomes very angry very easily. As you know, Ananta Shesha also becomes angry. So when Balaram becomes angry, his eyes become copper red, reddish. And when he exhibits this towards Mushtika with whom he is fighting, still his beauty is enhanced by his laughter. So though he is fighting with Mushtika, he is still laughing it out and he is enjoying the fight and his absorption in the fight. But generally, when somebody fights with another person, we will see that they are very, very serious. But here, Balaram is laughing it out while fighting with Mushtika. Text number 13. I think these are important verses, so I'll recite the sloka also. Punya patak prajabhuvo yad ayam nrilinga bhuda purana purusho vanachitra malyaha gappalayan sahapala vanayamscha venum vikridyan chati giritra ramarchitingrihi. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. How pious are the tracts of land in Braja, for there the primeval personality of long Godhead, disguising himself with human traits, wanders about enacting his many pastimes. Adorned with wonderfully variegated forest garlands, he whose feet are worshipped by Lord Shiva and Goddess Rama vibrates his flute as he tends the cows in the company of Balarama. So here there are some important points again. It says, how pious are the tracts of land in Braja. Now Krishna actually has appeared in the form of a human being, and he wanders about like any normal human being, enacting his many pastimes. Then he adorns a lot of beautiful forest garlands on his neck, which make him more beautiful. In fact, it is said that the flowers become more beautiful when Krishna wears these garlands. Krishna does not necessarily require garlands, but it is a service Krishna is giving to these forest flowers, and when he wears them, they get their beauty. He whose feet are worshipped by Lord Shiva and Goddess Rama vibrates his flutes as he tends the cows in the company of Balarama. So Krishna actually in Braja, in Vrindavan, Krishna and Balarama, they tend the cows, whereas in Mathura, they fight. That fighting does not exist in Vrindavana. So Krishna's feet, lotus feet, are worshipped by Lord Shiva and even Goddess Rama as he vibrates his flute in the company of Balarama. So when Krishna vibrates his flute, they are worshipped by Lord Shiva and Goddess Rama also. Mathura is also one of Lord's eternal abodes, but here the women, the assembly, express their love in a critical mood. So here they are explaining, describing about Krishna in a very critical mode. Text number 14. What austerities must the gopis have performed? With their eyes, they always drink the nectar of Lord Krishna's form, which is the essence of loveliness and is not to be equaled or surpassed. That form is the only abode of beauty, fame, and opulence. It is self perfect, ever fresh, and extremely rare. So the gopis had the opportunity of associating with Krishna and in the topmost rasa, that is Madhurya rasa. And they always drink that nectar after by seeing Krishna's beautiful form. That is the form which is the essence of loveliness. Krishna is lovely and is not, and his beauty is not to be equaled or surpassed. Now here there is a word called asamordhvam. Asamordhvam means there is no one equal to or no one who can surpass Krishna in any way. So here his beauty is described as asamordhvam, but as nobody can equal or surpass his beauty. And that form is the only abode of beauty, fame, and opulence. It is self-perfect, ever fresh, and extremely rare. One cannot see a beauty of Krishna like that anywhere. So that is why it is said extremely rare. Not only that, it is self-perfect. Krishna is perfect, most perfect. We cannot reach these perfection standards. And always Krishna is ever fresh. So whether he is in the battlefield or grazing the cows, etc., if we in the normal course we see that we might get exhausted, we might get perspiration, etc. But in the case of Krishna, he is always ever fresh. These are the qualities of Krishna being described by the women. Text number 15. Translation Śrī Brahma-saṁhitā. The ladies of Raja are the most fortunate of women because with their minds fully attached to Krishna and their throats always choked up with tears, they constantly sing about him while milking the cows, winnowing grain, churning butter, gathering cow dung for fuel, riding on swings, taking care of their crying babies, sprinkling the ground with water, cleaning their house, and so on. By their exalted Krishna consciousness, they automatically acquire all desirable things. So it's a very important verse here. It is mentioned as to how the ladies of Braja Vrindavan, they are very fortunate because their minds are always attached to Krishna and their throats are always choked up with tears. How it is mentioned that they constantly sing about him while milking the cows. That means even while milking the cows, they sing about the glories of the Lord. Even while churning, winnowing grain, while taking out grains, they sing the glories of Krishna. While churning butter, they sing the glories of Krishna. While gathering cow dung for fuel, they sing the glories of Krishna. When they ride on the swings, they sing the glories of Krishna. And when they are taking care of their crying babies, at that time also, they are singing the glories of Krishna. And when they are sprinkling the ground with water, at that time they sing the glories of Krishna. And even while cleaning their houses, they always sing the glories of Krishna. So this is their exalted position of Krishna consciousness. And what we need to take is that from this is that we may be performing so many duties throughout the day, household duties, professional duties, whatever it may be. But we should always think of Krishna and sing the glories of Krishna. That is how the gopis became perfect, because they were always singing the glories of Krishna. Text number 16. When the gopis hear Krishna playing his flute as he leaves Vraja in the morning with his cows or returns with them at sunset, the young girls quickly come out of their houses to see him. They must have performed many pious activities to be able to see him as he walks on the road, his smiling face mercifully glancing upon them. So this is how the gopis have become very successful in their Krishna consciousness, because they have performed. Here the women say that when Krishna plays his flute, and he leaves Vraja in the morning with his cows for grazing them, or when he returns at sunset with these cows, these girls quickly come out of their houses to see him. And this is because they have performed many births of pious activities as they see him walking on the road. smiling upon them, his smile on them, and merciful glancing upon them. So Krishna mercifully glances on his devotees and with a smiling face. This is because of the pious activities that they have done in many, many births. Text number 17. Sukadeva's Goswami continued. As the women spoke thus, O hero of the Bharatas, Lord Krishna, the master of all mystic power, made up his mind to kill his opponent. So now Sukadeva Goswami narrates that the women were speaking like this within each other. And now they say, now Krishna, the master of all mystic power. Krishna is Yogeshwara. Yogeshwara means one who has got a lot of mystic powers. Now he decided to kill his opponent. Text number 18. Out of affection for the two lords, their parents, Devaki and Vasudeva, became overwhelmed with sorrow when they heard the women's fearful statements. They grieved, not knowing their son's strength. So Devaki and Vasudeva were also watching the battlefield, and they were feeling filled with sorrow because they had affection. They had a lot of affection for both Krishna and Balarama. And when they heard that women were speaking like this, they started grieving. They were feeling grievance, not knowing that Krishna and Balaram are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they did not know the strength of both of them also. So naturally, the parents, as parents, they lamented on this situation. They thought between themselves, why didn't we keep our sons at home? Why did we allow them to participate in this corrupt exhibition? Because they call this as corrupt because it's not fair. Text number 19. Lord Balarama and Mushtika, expertly displaying numerous wrestling techniques, battled each other in the same way that Lord Krishna and his opponent did. Just as Lord Krishna was battling with Chanura, Balarama was battling with Mushtika, employing various techniques to battle it out. Text number 20, 19 to 21. Sorry, text number 20. The harsh blows, translation the harsh blows from the Supreme Lord's limbs fell like crushing lightning bolts upon Chanura, breaking every part of his body and causing him more and more pain and fatigue. So the way Krishna was giving his blows to Chanura, every part of his body broke into pieces, and it caused him more pain and more pain and fatigue. And all his limbs were gradually weakening. Text number 21. Furious, Chanura attacked Lord Vasudeva with the speed of a hawk and struck his chest with both the fists. So Chanura became furious and he started attacking Lord Krishna with the speed of a hawk. A hawk flies at a very fast speed. In fact, it is said that even from a long distance, they can see their prey. That's why they have their eyesight and they're also very fast. So Chanura attacked Krishna with the speed of a hawk and struck his chest with Krishna's chest with both the fists. Text number 22 and 23. Translation. No more shaken by the demon's mighty blows than an elephant struck with a flower garland, Lord Krishna grabbed Chanura by his arms, swung him around several times, and hurled him onto the ground with great force. His clothes, hair, and garland scattering, the wrestler fell down dead like a huge festival column collapsing. So here we see that Krishna was not shaken by the blows that Chanura was giving on him. And Krishna grabbed Chanura by his arms, swinging around several times. Normally they swing people weaker ones several times before killing them. Similarly, Krishna swung Chanura several times, and then he threw him on the ground with a great force. In the process, his clothes, his hair, and garland, they all scattered. The wrestler fell down dead, like a huge festival column collapsing. In many times we see when we go to the festival, there'll be a huge column. So just like a column collapses, Chanura also fell. So in the purport it is mentioned that Sridhar Swami explained the word Indradvaja as follows. In Bengal, on the occasion of a certain festival, people erect a tall column in the form of a man and decorated with flags, banners, etc. So Chanura fell as such a pole might fall. Text number 24 and 25. Similarly, Mushtika struck Lord Balabhadra with his fist and was slain. Receiving a violent blow from the mighty Lord's palm, the demon trembled all over in great pain, vomited blood, and then fell lifeless into the ground, like a tree blown down by the wind. So just like Chanura fell down dead, Mushtika tried to struck Balarama with his fist, but he was ultimately killed. He got a huge blow from Balaram's palm, and the demon trembled over in great pain. Not only that, he vomited blood and then fell lifeless on the ground, like a tree blown by the wind. So just like when a strong wind blows, many trees fall. So similarly, Mushtika also fell down dead on the ground. Text number 26. Confronted next by the wrestler Kuta, Lord Balarama, the best of fighters, playfully, nonchalantly killed him with his first leg, left fist, O king. So there is a mention here somewhere that Kuta, and there were two more, they were all five, that's their name somewhere. So five of them, there were five sons. So what happened was they were born Brahmanas, but it so happened that they preferred to take, they were all distantly related to Bali Maharaj. So Kuta and all these five brothers, they were, though they were born as Balaram, as Brahmanas, they took up to the profession of Kshatriyas. So Bali Maharaj, it is said that he cursed them that they will become wrestlers on the side of the demons. So with that curse, they took birth as wrestlers on the side of the demons. So this is the next demon who came, and Lord Balaram actually killed him with his left fist. Text number 27. This is the another name. Then Krishna kicked in Sala's head and tore Toshala in half, and both wrestlers fell down. So Kuta, Sala, and Toshala, these are the other three brothers. So Krishna kicked Sala's head and tore Toshala into half, and both the wrestlers fell down dead. Text number 28. Chanura, Mushtika, Kuta, Sala, and Toshala having been killed, the remaining wrestlers all fled for their lives. So these were five brothers, Chanura, Mushtika, Kuta, Sala, and Toshala. When they were killed, then the other wrestlers in the arena, they felt that there is no point of fighting a battle now because these were powerful wrestlers themselves. If they have been killed, there is no point because we will also be killed. So they all fled for their lives to protect themselves. Text number 29. Krishna and Balarama then called their young cowherd boyfriends to join them, and in their company, the lords danced about and sported their ankle bells, resounding as musical instruments played. So in the purport, it is mentioned that whenever there is a boxing match that takes place, and when there is victory, all the friends and relatives, everyone gather together in celebration of the victorious boxer who defeats the other party. So in that mood, Krishna and Balarama also danced about celebrating their victory with their friends and relatives. Text number 30. Everyone except Kamsa rejoiced at the wonderful feat Krishna and Balarama had performed. The exalted Brahmanas and great saints exclaimed, "Excellent, excellent." So, except Kamsa, everyone rejoiced because they saw the wonderful feat that Krishna and Balarama had performed. Nobody expected Krishna and Balarama because they were two young boys and they were looking very small in front of the great wrestlers. So nobody expected them to kill Chanura and Mushtika. So only Kamsa was not rejoiced, but everyone else rejoiced. And the exalted Brahmanas and great saints exclaimed, "Very good, excellent, excellent." And mainly it is mentioned about Kamsa's priests were seriously grieving. There are many priests that Kamsa had engaged, Brahmana priests, and they were all grieving for him. Text number 31. The Boja king, seeing that his best wrestlers had all been killed or had fled, stopped the musical performance, originally meant for his pleasure, and spoke the following words. So, Kamsa, when he saw that both Chanura, Mustika, and all the other brothers were killed, immediately, and the other wrestlers all fled the battle scene, he immediately stopped that musical performance and meant for his pleasure and spoke the following words. So, Kamsa was playing music for his own satisfaction, but as soon as he saw all of them being killed, he immediately stopped that music and spoke like this. Text number 32. Now Kamsa said, drive the two wicked sons of Vasudeva out of the city, confiscate the cowherd's property, and arrest that fool Nanda. So now Kamsa starts speaking. He says, drive these two people, Krishna and Balarama, out of the city, confiscate all the cowherd men's property, and arrest that fool Nanda Maharaja. So Kamsa becomes angry, and now he'll be expressing his anger in the form of these words. He said that you arrest Nanda Maharaj also and take away all the properties of all the cowherd men. Now text number 33. Now he says, kill that most evil fool Vasudeva and also kill my father Ugrasena along with his followers who have all sided with our enemies. So this is a natural tendency that someone feels that he's being defeated or his side is being defeated. He wants everyone on the opponent side to be killed. So he says now that you kill that Vasudeva, who was the father of Krishna, and also kill my father Ugrasena. He wants his own father Ugrasena to be killed along with his followers because they have sided with Krishna and Balaram. Text number 34. As Kamsa thus raved so audaciously, the infallible Lord Krishna, intensely angry, quickly and easily jumped up onto the high royal dais. So Kamsa was angry and he was speaking all these words. At that time, Krishna is addressed as Achyuta. I mean, one who is infallible. Krishna does not fall from his position. We are called Chuta because we fall from our original constitutional position into this material world. But Krishna is called Achyuta because he is infallible. So Krishna also became angry and he quickly jumped upon the royal dais. Text number 35. Seeing Lord Krishna approaching like death personified, the quick-witted Kamsa instantly rose from his seat and took up his sword and shield. So we see that Kamsa was looking at Krishna as death personified. In fact, he was so fearful that he was always thinking of Krishna. When he was eating, he would think of Krishna as his enemy. Because it was already predicted that Kamsa would be killed by Krishna. He was always fearful of Krishna. So he was always thinking that Krishna might kill me. So he was, even while any activity that he was performing, he would always think of Krishna. And so now he got up from his seat and took up his sword and shield. Now, Kamsa was also Krishna conscious. When we say Kamsa was Krishna conscious, he was always thinking of Krishna, but in a negative way. So one should think of Krishna always in a positive manner, positive relationship, positive service, etc. Kamsa was always thinking about in a negative aspect. Text number 36. Sword in hand, Kamsa moved quickly from side to side like a hawk in the sky. But Lord Krishna, whose fearsome strength is irresistible, powerfully seized the demon, just as the son of Taksha might capture a snake. So, sword in hand, Kamsa moved quickly from side to side. So, Kamsa was trying to dodge, going from one side to the other side. But Krishna, whose strength is irresistible. So, Krishna's strength is irresistible, it is incomparable. There is no one who can beat the strength of Krishna. Powerfully seized the demon as the son of Taksha might capture a snake. So Krishna seized Kamsa. Text number 37. Grabbing Kamsa by the hair and knocking off his crown, the lotus navel lord threw him off the elevated dais onto the wrestling mat. Then the independent lord, the support of the entire universe, threw himself upon the king. So Krishna grabbed Kamsa by his hair and knocking off his crown, knocked off his crown, and the lotus navel lord threw him off the elevated dais into the wrestling mat. So Krishna's parts of the body are compared to the lotus because lotus is a beautiful flower. So in the case of Krishna, we always say lotus face, lotus navel, lotus arms, lotus feet. So anything that is related to Krishna is compared to lotus because lotus is the most attractive flower, most beautiful flower with beautiful fragrance. So Krishna picked up Kamsa and threw him onto the wrestling mat. Then the independent Lord, the support of the entire universe, threw himself upon the king. So the Lord is also called Swarat because he is independent. Now it is mentioned that the Lord is the support of the entire universe. Now the entire universe rests on the Lord. Now one might wonder how come the Lord can support a universe like this, because the Lord is present in each of the universe as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, as the super soul of all the universes. So all these universes, in fact, our universe is the smallest of the so many universes. But it is the Lord who is there as the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, as the super soul of all the universes. He supports these universes. So Krishna then threw himself upon the king. Then the purport is mentioned that Krishna at once straddled his chest and began to strike him over again and again. Then now Krishna started to strike at Kamsa again and again. And simply from the strokes of his fist, Kamsa lost his vital force. So Kamsa lost his vital force with repeated strikes of Krishna. Next, number 38. As a lion drags a dead elephant, the Lord then dragged Kamsa's dead body along the ground in full view of everyone present. O king, all the people in the arena tumultuously cried out, "Oh, oh." So here is mentioned that just as a lion drags a dead elephant, similarly Krishna dragged Kamsa's dead body along the ground in front of everyone who was present there. And everyone who were there present in the arena, they all cried out, "Oh, oh." So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions about Sri Vishnu's Chakravarti Thakura's commentary on this. He said that many people in the audience thought that Kamsa had been simply knocked unconscious when thrown from the lofty dais. Therefore, Lord Krishna dragged his corpse so everyone would realize that the evil king was indeed dead. So here the explanation is given that many thought that maybe Krishna has made him unconscious and thrown him into the dais. But actually Krishna dragged this dead body of Kamsa to show that the evil king was dead. Thus, the explanation haha indicates how surprised the people were that the king was suddenly dead and gone. So, everyone was surprised that Kamsa was dead and he was finished. There is a quote in the Padma Vishnu Purana also that the entire arena became filled with cries of astonishment as people saw that the master of Mathura had been contemptuously killed by Krishna. So, entire battle wrestling arena was filled with astonishment because everyone saw that Kamsa was killed by Krishna. Text number 39. Kamsa had always been disturbed by the thought that the Supreme Lord was to kill him. Therefore, when drinking, eating, moving about, sleeping, or simply breathing, the king had always seen the Lord before him with a disc weapon in his hand. Thus, Kamsa achieved the rare boon of attaining a form like the Lord's. So, here we see that Kamsa was always, as I mentioned, Kamsa was always disturbed by the thought of Krishna because it was already announced that Krishna would kill him. So whether he was drinking or he was eating or he was going about or he was sleeping or even breathing, the king was always seeing the Lord in front of him with a disc weapon in his hand. So thus Kamsa achieved the rare boon of attaining a form like the Lord's. So there are different forms of the Lord, Sayujya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sarukya, Sashti. So Kamsa attained that Sarupya. Sarupya means attaining a form like Lord. So Kamsa got that form when he was killed by the Lord. Because he was contemplating always on the form of the Lord, he was liberated upon his death with the Lord's hands. So Kamsa was liberated with that Sarupya form. Text number 40. Kamsa's 8 younger brothers, led by Kanka and Nyagrodhaka, then attacked the lords in a rage, seeking to avenge their brother's death. So Kamsa had 8 brothers, and names are given as Kanka and Nyagrodhaka. They all tried to attack the Lord in a mood of anger, and they were trying to avenge their brother's death. This always happened that when somebody is dead, all the entire family members try to attack back. So here all the brothers of Kamsa started trying to attack Krishna. Text number 41. As they ran swiftly towards the 2 lords, ready to strike, the son of Rohini slew them with his club, just as a lion easily kills other animals. So if you go to a forest, the way a lion kills other animals, it's very abominable to see, because other animals are innocent animals, but that's how the Shastras say, Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. So here, just as lion kills other animals, similarly, Balaram hit back at them with these other brothers of Kamsa. Text 42. Kettle drums resounded in the sky as Brahma, Shiva, and other demigods, the Lord's expansions, rained down flowers upon him with pleasure. They chanted his praises, and their wives danced. So when all the brothers of Kamsa were killed, there were kettle drums surrounded, which were resounded in the sky. Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all the other demigods, and the Lord's expansion. Lord has got many expansions. So all the Lord's expansions, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, everybody started raining down flowers upon the Lord with pleasure. They chanted the glories of the Lord, and their wives all danced in ecstasy. This is how, when somebody celebrates a victory, flowers are rained down from the sky, which the demigods and others throw, and then there's a lot of kettle drums resounded, etc., to celebrate the victory. Text number 43. My dear king, the wives of Kamsa and his brothers, aggrieved by the death of their well-wishing husband, came forward with tearful eyes, beating their heads. So when the wives of Kamsa saw that Kamsa was killed and all others were also killed, all his brothers were killed, they all became grieved by the death of their husband and others. So they came forward with tears in their eyes, and they started beating their heads. So many times we see that somebody is dead, people beat their heads, and they're always in tearful, eyes are always filled with tears. So here also, the wives of Kamsa, and they all grieved due to their husband's death, and they all came forward with tearful eyes. Text number 44. Embracing their husbands who lay on a hero's final bed, the sorrowful women loudly lamented while shedding constant tears. So the husbands were dead. Now they were embracing their husbands, and who were all lying in a final bed. And the women then started loudly lamenting while shedding constant tears. Text number 45. The women cried out, "Alas, O dear one, O master, O dear one, no knower of the religious principles, O kind and compassionate protector of the shelterless, by your being slain, we have also been slain together with your household and offspring." So the women, as usual, are very weak in nature, mentally. So when their husbands were killed, they started saying that, "O master, O dear one, O knower of religious principles." Though they were demons, they were glorifying their husbands. This is how demons' wives glorify. Then they say, "Oh, kind and compassionate protector of the shelterless." So they started addressing their husbands as the one who could protect the shelterless people. Then they said, "By your being slain, we have also been slain together with your household and offspring." So whenever a head of the family leaves his body, it's a general feeling that everything has been lost. Of course, nothing is lost. Life is such that one leaves body and takes another body. So they address that by your being slain, we have also been slain. And along with that, all our household, our offsprings, everyone, everyone and everything is also gone. Text number 46. Then they say, "Oh, great hero among men, bereft of you, its master, this city has lost its beauty, just as we have, and all festivity and good fortune within it have come to an end." So now they glorify their husband, saying that when they are dead, this city has lost its luster and has lost its beauty also. And all the moods of the festivity and good fortune have everything come to an end. So generally, we see that whenever there's a celebration, there is a lot of festivals and all go on. So here, the women folk of Kamsa and his brothers, they feel that with their death, the city has lost its beauty and natural charm, and the mood of festivity and good fortune with it also have come to an end. So everything is lost, they feel. Text number 47. "Oh, dear one, you have been brought to this state because of the terrible violence you committed against innocent creatures. How can one who harms others attain happiness?" So here, now they actually realize that Kamsa had had committed a lot of atrocities on innocent people. So now they say, "Oh, dear one, you have been brought to this state because of the terrible violence you have committed against your innocent creatures." So many are innocent people on whom Kamsa committed a lot of atrocities. Then they say, "How can one who harms others attain happiness?" So one who brings harm to others can never be happy in their life. In the Purports, Śrī Brahma-saṁhitā mentions, having expressed their sentimental grief, the ladies now speak practical wisdom. So before they were speaking on sentimental grounds, but now they are speaking in practical wisdom. They are beginning to see things realistically because their minds were purified by the agony of recent events and by the association of Lord Krishna. So earlier, if you see the previous verses, they were glorifying their husbands, and now they are coming to practical wisdom by saying that you have committed atrocities. How can you attain happiness? And by the association of Lord Krishna and the development of events, their minds all got purified. Text number 48. Lord Krishna causes the appearance and disappearance of all beings in this world, and he is their maintainer as well. One who disrespects him can never prosper happily. It's a very important verse because we must understand it is Krishna who causes the appearance of this and disappearance of all the living beings in this world. There are so many living entities in this world, and it is Krishna who causes their appearance as well as their disappearance. Not only that, he is the maintainer as well. So Krishna creates through Brahma, he maintains himself through Vishnu, and he annihilates everything through his agency, Lord Shiva. So, and further mentioned that one who disrespects him can never prosper happily. So one who disrespects Krishna can never prosper happily in their lives. Text number 49. Sukadeva Goswami said, after consoling the royal ladies, Lord Krishna, the sustainer of all the worlds, arranged for the prescribed funeral rites to be performed. So after everybody was dead and all the lamentation has happened, Krishna arranged for a prescribed funeral rites to be performed for the dead. Text number 50. Then Krishna and Balarama released their mother and father from bondage and offered obeisances to them, touching their feet with their heads. So after killing Kamsa and his brothers, then Krishna and Balarama arranged for their funerals for the dead bodies, and then they released their father and mother from bondage because they were arrested. And thereafter, they offered obeisances onto both their mother and father, touching their feet with their heads. They bowed down. So bowing down is a big, this thing is very important in everyone's life. By offering obeisances to the elders and devotees of the Lord, it has got a lot of impetus in one's spiritual life. Text number 51. Devaki and Vasudeva, now knowing Krishna and Balaram to be the lords of the universe, simply stood with joined palms. Being apprehensive, they did not embrace their sons. This is a very important sloka. This is the last sloka of this chapter. Say Devaki and Vasudeva, not knowing Krishna and Balaram to be the lords of the universe, simply stood with joined palms. Being apprehensive, they did not embrace their sons. So Devaki and Vasudeva, they did not know that Krishna, Balaram were the Lord of the universe. But when Krishna and Balaram offered obeisances, they simply stood with joined palms. They did not embrace their sons because they started worshipping Krishna and Balarama in the mood of awe and reverence. So unlike Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, they worshipped Krishna and Balaram in the mood of awe and reverence. So they did not embrace their sons. So with this, thus end the purport of the humble servants of the divine grace, Srila Prabhupada to the 10th canto. With this, we come to the end of this class. Now I will go on to the Brahma-saṁhitā. Just give me a minute. Today I am asked to speak on the verse number 44 of Brahma-saṁhitā. I'll recite the verse first and then read the translation. Verse 44. Sthiti pralaya sadhana sakti reka chaye vayasya bhuvanani vibharti durga ichchanurupam abhiyasya chachestate sa govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So here the translation says, the external potency of Maya, who is of the nature of the shadow of the Chit potency, is worshipped by all people as Durga, the creating, preserving, and destroying agency of this mundane world. I adore the female Lord Govinda, in accordance with whose will Durga conducts herself. It's a very important verse from Brahma-saṁhitā. So here it is mentioned that this Durga is a perverted reflection of the Chit potency of what exists. Not perverted, she is a reflection of the Chit potency of what exists in the spiritual world. The external potency, Maya, who is of the nature of the shadow of Chit potency, is worshipped by all as Durga. So this Durga is the one through whom the Lord creates, preserves, and annihilates this entire mundane world. And how she does this? Brahma says, I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in accordance with whose will Durga conducts herself. That means Durga herself is not independent. She conducts this aspect of creation, maintenance, and destruction under the will of the Lord Govinda. So this is how Durga conducts herself. There are some important points in the purport that are mentioned here. It says, first is that this Devidam, it consists of 14 words. As you all know, there are 7 top, 7 bottom. There are 14 words. Now, above this Devidam is the abode of Lord Shiva, and above the abode of Lord Shiva is the Brahman effulgence, which is a glowing effulgence that covers the spiritual world. And then after that comes the innumerable Vaikuntha planets, where the Lord resides in each of these Vaikuntha planets. Sometimes some Vaikuntha planets as Lord Ram, some in Dwarka, like that. So there are innumerable Vaikuntha planets on which the Lord resides, and the topmost of all the Vaikuntha planets is Goloka Dham, where Krishna resides eternally. So this Durga is the preceding deity of these 14 worlds. Thus, that means she is the preceding deity. Also, she's 10-armed. She's got 10 arms. She rides on a lion. She tramples Mahishasura demon. I mean, she's the one who killed Mahishasura demon. And she has 2 sons, Kartikeya and Ganesha, who resemble beauty and success. So she has got two sons. One is Kartikeya and the other one is Ganesha. Each one resembling Kartikeya resembling beauty and Ganesha resembling success. She is also armed with 20 weapons. Now, she has got 20 weapons. She is unarmed, and with each of them she holds weapons, and altogether she has got 20 weapons. She also holds a snake representing destructive time. So we might see that in a picture. She might always have a snake. That snake represents time in the form of destruction. Time destroys, actually. It is through time Krishna creates, and also as time Krishna destructs also. We see that time is such a factor that every moment of our life, one moment of our life is taken away by time. We can't bring back time, but time destructs every moment of one's life. What is gone will not come back. And Durga means prison house. So this material world is called a prison house. And Durga, the meaning of Durga is that this is a prison house. When Jiva is averse to service to Krishna, she confines them to the prison house. That means by constitutional position, we are all meant to serve the Supreme Lord Krishna. But when we become averse to the service of Krishna, Durga, as the maintainer of this prison house, keeps us entangled in this material world. But at the same, and this material world it's a place where there is a lot of karma and its reactions. So once somebody becomes averse to the service of Krishna, then what happens is that she puts that conditioned souls into this material world where karma starts reacting. So we perform many karmas, we perform many fruitive activities, and then we take the reactions of these also. And then when somebody is conditioned, the work of purifying those jivas is also given to Durga. That means when somebody, over a period of time, conditioned souls start thinking, oh, I'm fed up with this material world and so forth. That is the time Durga gives the opportunity. She facilitates the conditioned souls by purifying these jivas. That is also undertaken by Durga. And how she does this? She does this by the will of Krishna. That means if one wants to serve Krishna with all his opulences and so forth, Durga facilitates that also. And if one wants to becomes averse to Krishna, Durga facilitates that also by putting them in this material world called Durga, which is a prison house. Jiva is a fragmental part and parcel of Krishna. When he forgets the service of Krishna, he is at once deflected by the attracting power of Maya. So Maya attracts all the conditions sold to this material world, and that is conducted by Durga himself, by when one forgets the service of Krishna. And when one comes to this whirlpool of material world, Jiva has experience of happiness and miseries, heaven and hell. So once the conditioned souls are put into this material world, they experience these dualities called happiness and distress, and they also experience heaven and hellish conditions also. Now, beside this, there is a subtle body consisting of the mind, intelligence, and ego inside the gross body. So we have two bodies. One is a gross body consisting of the 8 elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, etc., plus mind, intelligence, and false ego. So by means of the subtle body, the jiva forsakes one gross body and takes recourse to another. So when we give up one material body, our subtle body, that is mind, intelligence, and false ego, takes us to another body. But on getting rid of the subtle body, he bathes in the Viraja and goes to Haridam. So when one starts rendering service to Krishna, then one can give up his subtle body. Otherwise, one has to, as long as the subtle body exists, one has to keep changing bodies. But one renders service to Krishna, at that time what happens is that one becomes free of the subtle body, and then he has got an opportunity to go to the Viraja river. This Viraja river is the one that is in between the material and spiritual world. One can take bath in Viraja river and he goes straight to Haridama. Such are the duties performed by Durga in accordance with the will of Govinda. So Durga performs this activity to facilitate the jiva to go to Haridham if he has got a desire to serve Krishna, or to keep him bound in this material world which is called prison house. But she does this on the will of Govinda. Durga worship by the people of this mundane world is the Durga described above. So what is mentioned here is what exactly people call as Durga in this material world. But the spiritual Durga mentioned in the mantra, which is the outer covering of the spiritual realm and the spiritual world, is the eternal maid servant of Krishna, and is therefore the transcendental reality whose shadow, the Durga of this world, functions in this material world as her maid servant. Quite in the purport of Sloka number 3. So there is a Durga in the spiritual world also, and her reflection is what is we see as Durga in this material world. But both are servants of Krishna, the one in the spiritual world also, and then the one in the material world also. They are also eternal maid servants of Krishna. So with this, I conclude the class for the day, both for Srimad Bhagavatam and Brahma-saṁhitā. The next few minutes, I can take some questions or some comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
This Durga in the spiritual world is Yogamaya,
Yes,
and Durga of our material world is Mahamaya.
yes.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank
You
you,
took
Mataji.
a wonderful class, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Any other comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, Mataji, tell me.
Prabhuji, Durga kills a demon called Madhu, Ketab. Madhu and
Mahishasura.
Ketab. Even
Yeah,
Madhu
but
and Ket. And then
uh,
the same is killed by Lord Krishna also. Are they different Madhu Ketabs or they're one and the same?
we are talking about Madhu and Kaitava.
Yes, Ketava, Prabhuji.
Yes, they are one only.
Then even Krishna kills them. That's why he's called Madhusudan. And Durga also kills him, this demon.
In the sense that actually Madhu and Kaitava are different from the demon which we call Madhusudana. Krishna is called Madhusudana because he kills the demon in the name of Madhu. Sorry, that Madhu is different from this Madhu and Kaitava.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Mataji.
clearing my doubts. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Any other comments?
Prabhuji, today we have to read about Govardhan mountain. Those chapters, if we read, it will be good, no?
Yes, yes, yes. Today is Govardhan Puja, which is very auspicious for all the Vaishnavas in our Sampradaya. So I think there is a program in the temple also. Those who can attend program in the temple, there is nothing better than that because they have Govardhan Hill. They will have a mountain made for like Giriraj, and Seshadapuram temple itself has a Giriraj Shila. So there will be an Abhishekam for the Shila, Govardhan Shila. So it is good to attend the temple program. If not in a position to attend, one can recite Govardhan pastime. One can recite the slokas of Govardhan Puja, Govardhan Hill pastime. So all of them are auspicious, but always better to attend temple programs on these auspicious days.
If is it going to be online, Prabhuji, or they're going to show it to us like that?
I think there will be an online transmission also. If not, it will be relayed later. But yeah, generally there is an online transmission also of the festival.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you. We'll request them to kindly share it with us.
Sure, Mataji. I think there'll be an announcement that will be put in the group ISKCON Jagannath Darshan, where it will be mentioned about the online program also. It is always done for all the festivals. So that announcement will also make before the festivals commence. So go through that ISKCON Jagannath Darshan website. It will be there.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Anybody else? Any other questions? So if no other questions and comments, can I take this class as closed? I'm 4 minutes, 3 minutes short today.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Damodar Ashtakam is pending.